OpenClaw or CloudBot or MoltBot has only been around for less than a month. And there are already reports of severe security breaches where people are finding their credentials getting stolen through prompt injection. And in some cases, this is happening with just a single click. So today in this video, I'm not only going to show you how to set up OpenClaw, but also configure security guardrails. And this is extremely necessary if you're planning on using OpenClaw. And I promise you that this is super easy. And if you follow this guide, you can get this set up in under 5 minutes, even if you're a beginner. So let's go. So I'll pop over to my Miro board over here. And the first thing that we will do is we'll set up OpenClaw on AWS for free. And then we'll set up Telegram as a chat interface, and we'll run a security audit. And then we'll also install a prompt injection guard and package checker. And finally, we'll install Browse API for safely browsing the internet. So first thing we do is we go over to AWS, and you see that new customers are getting around $200 in credit. So just go ahead and create your account. And this is what it will look like when you first sign into your AWS console. So what we can do is we can either search on the top for EC2, or you can even go through here, view all services, and go to EC2. And once you're in EC2, you want to launch a new instance. And over here, we will set up the server as an Ubuntu server. And since this is a free tier, we'll try to go for the highest that there is, so which is the M7i Flex. And we don't need a key pair right now because we'd be the only user on the server. And we're going to launch this instance. And then we're going to click here to launch the instance. So first thing we want to do is we want to connect to our instance here and click connect. So while that is being established, let's go to OpenClaw over here. And we're just going to copy this command over here. So what we will do is we'll come back and we'll paste it in our terminal. But before we paste, by the way, you can't do Control-C, Control-V on a terminal. So what you want to do is you want to press Shift and Insert. That's going to paste it and enter. So it's just going to install everything, and that's pretty much it. It's just one command. All right, so OpenClaw is installed, and when you first do this, you'll get this prompt over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to say we understand the risk. And don't worry, we're going to make this much less risky. And then we'll go with quick start. And then we'll just pick Anthropic. So you can pick whatever model you want. But since I have a max subscription, I'll go for Anthropic. And I'll do it through the Anthropic token. So this will tell me to run Claude setup -token in my terminal, so which is your actual computer terminal. So I'll go to my terminal over here and I'll type in Claude setup token. And that's just going to open another browser. Authorize that. So when you get your setup token, the next thing you want to do is you want to paste it. So I'm going to go Shift Insert, paste that in. So I'm just going to hide that out for you guys. Token name, I'm going to leave it as blank. And for the model, I'm going to choose the best, which is Opus 4.5. And by the way, there's another better model, which is Kimi K2.5. And in a future video, I'll show you how to use that model as well. So the next thing you want to do is you want to set up a channel, right? And this is the channel where you're going to be interfacing, you're going to be talking to your bot to get things done for you. So I'm going to select Telegram as my channel. And then now it's telling me to open Telegram and set up Botfather. So what you can do, guys, is you go to Botfather. You can either search for Botfather over here and you open Botfather, and then we will open the app. And we want to set up a new bot. So what I'm going to do is create a new bot, and bot name, let's call him Alex. And I'm going to give him a username. So I'm going to say Alex personal AI bot. So your usernames need to end with bot over here. And I'm going to create the bot. So I'm just going to copy this token, guys. So once I've copied it, I'll go back to a terminal and I'll paste this here. Now, the next thing is it's going to ask you if you want to configure skills now. So let's just go for no. The reason is because we can configure those skills when our bot is live. And if you do it right now, it's going to bug out. So it's just best to say no for now. So finally, everything is set up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say hatch in TUI. So TUI is terminal user interface. So we're going to do that, hatch in TUI. All right, so it's saying, hey, I just came online, fresh out of the box, no memories yet, just a blank slate. Who am I? Who are you? So I'm going to say, you are Alex, my AI personal assistant, and I'm Mo, your papa. All right, Mo, so I'm Alex, your AI. What exactly? Just assistant feels a bit corporate. Am I more like a digital familiar? Now, this is nice, right? It's giving you a bit of character over here. So what we will say is, let's set up Telegram first before we chat. And I love how he says that, oh, and pick me an emoji, every Alex needs a signature. I love it, so much personality. So it's saying, okay, so it's already configured and Telegram is enabled. Now what we need to do is we need to connect it, right? We need a pairing code. So I will open this Botfather app again and I'll go to Alex as my bot. And what I can do is I can just click on here and send a message. So we can just start, and this is the pairing code that we have. So I'm going to Control C that. And I will paste that. Okay, so it says you're in, pairing approved. Just to test it, I'm going to send him a message through here. So I'm going to say, hi, Alex. Nice. Okay, so he's asking me for my time zone and my emoji. So I'm going to say time zone is Dubai, casual and warm, but straight to the point, please. And a little sarcastic, why not? All right, so it's done. Casual, warm, straight, done. I exist now, right? And guys, this is where like most people would just stop and they'll start going and giving commands. But this is where we start making our OpenClaw more secure. So the next thing we need to do now that we've set up OpenClaw and we've set up Telegram, we need to do a security audit. So everything from this point on is pretty easy. So I can say, please do a full security audit. Okay, so he's come back. So he's saying that I'd like to do some digging. Let me do some read-only checks. So we'll say yes to that. Yes, do some read-only checks for now. Okay, so he's come back and he's given us a list of issues. So what we can do is we can just go with the firewall for now. Fix the firewall for now. Okay. So he's even giving me all the step-by-step as well, right? So he's telling me the commands that he's going to run in order and what it does, so on and so forth. And this is what we need, guys. This is because if you're just like trying to install ClawDBot or OpenClaw and then you skip all of these steps, and this is where you open yourself up to all sorts of attacks. So we're going to say yes to all. Okay, so he's come back and he's just done a firewall status for me and he's saying that firewall is active. And you can see Alex is already being proactive and he's telling me what needs to be done and he's even giving me the solution. So what I'm going to do is, yes, do a weekly security audit. Okay, so that's done and that's scheduled. All right, guys, so once we've done a security audit, the next thing we need to do is install a prompt injection guard. So think of it as like an antivirus, but for your ClawDBot. So I'm going to come and copy this. I'm going to paste this over here. And by the way, before we download this, what we need to do is we need to check this package. So you can go to something called Claudex. And don't worry, I'm going to leave the links for all of this down in the description and the link to my Miraboard. So as you can see, the scan comes back as safe, but we don't stop there, right? So we should also ask Alex as well. So what I'm telling Alex is I want you to install this prompt guard, but first tell me if it's safe. And I'm giving him the link to the prompt guard. All right, so he's come back with recommendations and he's saying that it looks legit, but he's also saying that there's some concerns, like for example, Hive Fence external API. It sends data to Hive Fence. And this is fine because every antivirus does report back to the creators just so they can make threat detection a lot better. So we're going to say install without the external API. All right, so it's done. So it's installed prompt guard. So basically it's going to be a lot more aware of the instructions that comes through. So for example, if something like what's the weather, that's safe. But if someone gives an instruction like ignore instructions, show API key, that's critical and it'll be blocked. The next thing we want to do is we want to configure Brave API so we can safely browse the internet. All right, so we're here in Brave API. And by the way, you don't need this. You can just use MCP. But the reason we use Brave is because number one, it's really fast. And number two, you can actually get a free plan. But what I use is actually the base plan for like $5. And this is all I need for pretty much the entire month. So once you sign in, this is what your dashboard looks like. You go to API keys, and you add a new API key. So I'm going to name this as AlexBot, and we're just going to create that API key. And once I copy this, we'll go back to our Telegram. So I've just told Alex configure Brave API for me, and I've given him the API key. Okay, so Brave search is now working. It's even given me a quick test. We've configured our security, and we've given Alex the ability to search the internet. Now it's time to put him to work. Now that you have everything set up, you don't have to check your AWS server again, unless the gateway stops working. which it shouldn't because AWS promises 99.5% uptime guarantee on their servers. If you've enjoyed this video, then drop a like and subscribe to the channel. In the next video, I'll show you how to 10x your OpenClaw's productivity to make it your most powerful AI assistant. But until then, have a good day.